Hello, welcome to the channel. Due to lockdown, there's no wild camping going on. We can't get out for an overnight or a weekender, so I did say I'd probably get out and do some more knots, and that's what all this is about. So I suppose if you wanted to tie something to a tree, you could literally just, you know, tie it like that and all the rest of it. The problem is that when you start putting tension on, these knots will either slip, or you can see straight away that's deformed. That wasn't the knot that we started with. And this is why we use proper knots. You have to think about where the tension's coming from. You can see that that's starting to roll and slip as I put tension on it, and it's also going to be quite a pain to undo now. And that's why we use the proper knots. So I'm just very quickly going to just put another knot on this. I'm going to tie that bowline again. I won't describe it because I just want to tie it to the tree so I can show you something else. So the next thing we'll look at is more loops. Putting the loop in the middle of the line here. Now again, if you've seen our videos on any camp building, we tend to pre-make our loops on the line using a prusik, which can slide along the line, and we can then move that loop to where we want it. However, you may want to put a permanent loop, or a non-sliding loop I should say, in this line. So I'll show you how I prefer to do it, because I find this a very, very easy method. So I'm going to start by just resting the line over my hand like that, and I'm going to loop it over 1, 2, so I've got three strands, so 1, 2, 3. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to work from the middle. I'm going to take this middle one and move it to the left, okay, like that. Then I'm going to take this one, which is now my middle, and move that to the right. Okay, so you can see now that I've got this one that's in the middle. I'm just going to pick that up, move that to the left. So I've gone left, right, left, and then this I'm going to pull through. I'm going to hold on to it, let the rest of it slip out, and just tighten that all up like that. So what I've got now is it's not going to tighten up when I put tension on that way. It's not going to tighten up when I put tension on it in either of those two directions, and I believe that's called a farmer's loop. You could of course just do figure of 8 on the loop as we did earlier, but that doesn't like the tension. The figure of 8 is designed to take tension that way on the loop there like that. It's not designed to take tension this way. So if I'm putting tension across the knot here, it doesn't like that. But a bowline, so to put a loop into a piece of cord, at the end of a piece of cord, for whatever reason, now you can use it as part of your quick deploy of putting your loop in, or you can tie it directly onto the tree. So what I'm going to do now is just come over here and pass my cord around it. So I've got my cord around it. I want to tie a loop on there, but I don't want the loop to tighten up onto the tree. I want it to sit quite loose on it. So to tie the bowline, we start with this is what we call our working end, can't remember, trailing end. I think this is where we're going to start anyway. We're going to create a loop here by just taking the cord like that and forming a loop. Now the thing to remember for the next section of this bowline is that this part here, this is the top of the loop, that's the bottom of the loop. So this is the bit that comes over the top of this piece. I'm going to take my trailing end and I'm going to bring it in from the top like that. So it just passes through my loop from the top like that. Then what I'm going to do is loop it over the top of the trailing end and then back up through the loop. I'm going to pull all that tight, cinch it down, and that is a bowline. Now that knot isn't going to slip. It's designed to allow tension that way without tightening this knot up. So you can see that the knot on this sort of loops around all here. So when I put tension that way, this knot doesn't overly tighten. So that's the first one, that's the bowline. And to undo it, I'm just going to, so you can see where that section of the loop comes around, I'm just going to turn it over and then just push that down, and that straight away loosens everything up. So no matter how much tension I put on this way, to undo it, I'm just going to come over here and fold that down. This is why we tie proper knots, because it makes them easier to undo. So that was the first one, that was the bowline. You can do a bowline on a loop. So when we did the figure of 8, you'll remember the figure of 8 knot, which was form your loop, wrap it round, up and under, like that to give you a figure 8. But then we also did a figure of 8 in a loop, where we started with the loop. We did exactly the same process. We went round and then we passed our loop up through the middle like that, and that gave us our figure 8 with a loop. So that's another way of tying a loop onto the end of a piece of string or onto the end of a cord. So we can do the same with the bowline. I'm not going to tie this one to the tree because this would have a different purpose. So I'm going to take a good length of my cordage. I'm going to create my loop down the bottom here like that, and then if you remember, sorry, like that. And then if you remember, what I said was, we take this end, we come in from the top, going through both loops this time, round the bottom. It's a bit more awkward with the double. So we're coming in from the top, underneath, round the bottom. I'm almost there, I promise. And then back up through the loop. So what I've got now is 2 loops, and then my end has another loop. If I pass these through like that and then tighten it all down, that becomes what's known as a bowline on the bight. So that little loop there is a bight, and what that gives me is 2 loops that I can use however I want them. Now, a sheep bend is used to join lengths of cordage together that are different diameters. These aren't massively different diameters, in fact they look about the same to me. But there's a very good reason why you might want to do this. For example, if I wanted to get a heavy rope up into that tree, I might want to send a short rope up first, and then I tie, a light rope first, and then I tie this to the heavier rope, throw this up because it's easy to get up, and then use this to haul the bigger rope up. So the knot we use for this is a sheep bend. And the way we create a sheep bend is we start with our heavier rope, so this will be our thicker rope, the green one, and we create a bight or a loop at one end. Then we take our lighter rope, or our thinner diameter rope, and it's a very simple process. We're going to pass this up, we're going to go around the back like that, all the way around both sides, and then this part is going through itself there. So that's what we're looking for. And when we tighten all that down, we've got 2 lengths of rope or 2 lengths of cord joined together with a sheep bend. And again, as part of the undoing of it, we just take that and we just fold it down, and that loosens everything off to the point where we can just undo it nice and easily like that. Another way of joining 2 ropes together is by using what's called a fisherman's knot. So a fisherman's knot is going to join these 2 pieces of rope together parallel to each other. We start by just tying a normal, what you might call an overhand knot, like that. Okay, I'm going to leave that quite loose for now, so that can slide along. And then I'm going to come here and tie another overhand knot there, like that. And all I need to do is just bring these 2 together, and they'll tighten onto each other. You just come right, I thought it was going to land on you then. And that is those 2 knots now joined together, but that's used when you've got knots of a similar diameter. So for joining these 2 together, that's actually what I'd use over a sheep bend. So that's some fairly simple knots, some new knots, hopefully. I think next time we come out into the woods, we'll go somewhere where there's a bit more. I think I know a good spot where there's going to be some more free lying wood, and we can do some lashings. So this is joining blocks of wood together. I know Jason tried to make a seat earlier. Do you want to just point at your seat that you had to go at? Okay, which would have been adequate. I mean, if you could have pushed it down. But what we'll do is we'll see if we can make sort of like a bench seat using the wood around us and lashing it together using some proper square lashings and stuff like that. So yeah, the next knot video I think will be a lashings video. I'll see you then. You good? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to take, I've got a little pair of work gloves to protect my delicate little hands. Don't want to be getting splinters. And amazingly, I brought 2 lefts with me. That's okay, we can work with that. Look like I've had an accident. So the first thing that I've got in here, the first thing I'll take out is my saw. So this is quite a big one. I know Jason's got a little one, but size isn't everything. This has got a lock on it like that. Then I'm going to split it out to get to the centre wood. This is going to help me by starting at that end. And then hopefully get the little firebox out and show you how that's all going to go. So talking about it isn't going to get it done. Oh, look at that. That cut well, that did, didn't it?
Oh, sorry.